Welcome back, America. Duane Patterson in for Hugh Hewitt, who is going to be joining us tomorrow on the second of our 2 days of the American Legislative Exchange Council shows here in Orlando, Florida, the 50th gathering. I am joined by another rock star in the state legislator ranks, and that is Patricia Rucker of West Virginia. And Patricia Rucker is an absolute mover and shaker in the education movement, but you have to understand what she's been able to do, and we will get there. To understand that, you've got to understand the bio and the background of where she came out of to get to where she's at now. Because, Patricia, I know you're probably tired of welcome to the show, by the way. I know you're probably tired of telling the bio, and you think people are tired of hearing the bio. When you've got a good story to tell, you've got to tell that story. So give us the background of who Patricia Rucker is and how you got to West Virginia.
So I'm a first generation immigrant, as you brought up. My father was a journalist, and he got a job in Washington, D.C. covering news. And so the whole family came, and I grew up in the suburban part of Washington, D.C., Montgomery County, Maryland. And we always planned to return to Venezuela. That was always our plan. We loved Venezuela, and we would go every other summer back home, and all of our family still remained there. And it was just our one little, nuclear family. And when I met my husband, that's when I kind of realized, I might stay. And we got married. And when I had my firstborn, I knew I wanted to raise my children instead of putting them into daycare. And so we had to move someplace cheaper, and that led us to West Virginia. And we've been there since 2000, and we've had 5 children. And in 2004, was very, very honored to finally get the opportunity to become a citizen of the United States. I applied for citizenship when I got married, but it took from 1996 until 2004 to go through the process. It's not easy,
right?
But completely and totally worth it. And yes, like your grandparents, I mean, I can tell you, I will never forget my naturalization ceremony. And I do kind of celebrate it every single year, which is October 8th, because it is, it not only the opportunity to have a chance to vote, but to me, it's about look at the American dream. It is still alive. It is still possible. You can still come to the United States, learn a new language, become part of the community, and now be an elected official, which I never thought when I became a citizen in 2004. But truly and honestly, I'm just so grateful for the opportunity and the beauty and the freedom. And it's one of the reasons for why I ran for office, and one of the reasons for why I'm here at ALEC, because ALEC defends all those things.
And you, since you've been in office, you haven't just been sitting in the back just casting votes. You've actually been impacting the world and actually making a difference, especially in the education movement. Tell people what West Virginia has done on the school front.
So West Virginia, I will tell you, when I got elected, had absolutely zero school choice, just nothing. There's no choices at all. And it hurt me because I knew that there were families who, like mine, did not find a fit in their local public school where they were districted to attend. And there was just zero options. You could, there was a process for transferring to another public school, but it was a very, very difficult process, and very few ever went through. So I wanted there to be more choice. I wanted there to be more freedom. But more importantly, like, I felt in my heart that it should be about the kids and what's best for them, not the district, not the building. Like, you can just tell when your decisions are coming from a place of what is the most important thing for that child versus, wait a second, is this going to hurt somebody's salary? Is someone's going to, lose out a position? Because, like, that should not be the priority of a decision. And definitely for the parents, I can tell you, when I ran for office, I heard many, many stories. Now, the majority of people are happy in their public school that they attend, but there was not a single person who did not tell me, but my cousin or my best friend's child or my neighbor. So everyone knows of someone who is not thriving, who needs to get out. And yet, what can we do about it, right? And they're just sharing these stories with you. So in 2019, I attempted for the first time to really push for some sort of school choice, and it did not work. It failed. But I learned a lot from it. And that's one of the things about being an educator. I don't give up.
You don't give up.
And I pretty much promised my voters that if I got reelected, I was going to come back, and I was going to make certain that that little bit of school choice that, I had to really fight very hard and failed to get through. Well, it was going to make that look like pathetic. And so I pretty much challenged the unions to get rid of me, and they tried, I can assure you, but I did win re-election. And after that re-election, I managed to get through both houses. And the governor signed a bill for universal education savings account in the state of West Virginia. And
that makes such a huge difference. Lee, this is everything you want in a state legislature, right?
It is indeed. And, we're going to play you a clip because for all those kids who are still hostages in West Virginia public schools or choose it, these are some of the things that are coming at them in terms of the curriculum and indoctrination. We want to play you a clip from the head of the National Education Association. You had just discussed unions. This is the big one. And this is Becky Pringle, only 2 weeks ago here in Orlando, talking about the people and the state of Florida. Take a listen to this.
This is Lee Cut One.
Because our children are here. We have come here because our colleagues are here. We have come to Florida because educators and students and their communities are being attacked by laws that threaten their safety and question their humanity, that block their access to every basic right that defines the word freedom. We stand ready to lift up and protect our colleagues and their students. And right here in Florida, we will preserve and strengthen a democracy that was steeped in the power of the Constitution of the United States of America. It is we, the people, NEA, we the people, all of us deserve the right to be truly free.
Patricia, comment as a social studies teacher and as a member of this group, this trade, this art, this love called teaching. How do you react to something like that?
I can tell you. So this is actually very scary. Honestly, very scary. So this is the person who's the president of this National Educators Association.
Yes.
So on one hand, yes, you expect them to be able to speak coherently, and especially about education. You expect them to know their history, where, if you know your history, you know that we do not have a democracy. And actually, our founding fathers were very concerned.
Specific about it, yes.
They did not want the majority rule because they would step over the rights of the minority. Right. So, and it's very clear that her definition of what America is very different than mine. And that's extremely scary. But even more scary is the reaction of the people there clapping and cheering this on. These are educators. That's just...
Yeah, it sounded like a rally. It sounded like a political rally rather than educators' call to improve students' scores, their test scores, their opportunity, their math skills, their reading skills. Nothing. Almost nothing about that.
But they were attacking Florida too. Like, Florida has passed laws attacking there has been no attack on educators. It's about empowering parents. Florida has basically stood up for parents.
Now, when you did the education reform stuff in West Virginia, you did not, that was not a straight party line partisan vote, was it?
It was not. I did have bipartisan, not much, but there was some bipartisan.
But it resonates with parents. It's a bipartisan issue. It's not an issue that is strictly a Republican issue. It's one that resonates, and that's why you're seeing it succeed in so many different states. Sure, in a lot of states it's being put through by Republican legislators, but it is an issue that resonates with parents. It's a winning issue.
I will tell you that every single poll I've seen in every single state, it always polls 60% and higher. And that's Republican, Democrat, Independents across the board, parents, grandparents, community leaders, business leaders. It is definitely a winning issue. It is unfortunate that some try to make it a partisan issue and some try to make it a right versus left. But that's the beauty of school choice. First of all, it's a choice. No one has to choose to do something other than public schools. Every single state in the United States provides you that opportunity for free education. And we can argue as to whether that's constitutional, but that's a different argument. But in every single state in the United States, you have that opportunity, which is a beautiful thing. But nothing should force you into that. And there was never in the beginning of public education the idea that you had to send your child there. That came later. Right. And that came, I'm sorry to say, because of lack of trust in parents. Like the laws that got passed in states to say you must attend public schools, those laws came during periods of time in which they did not trust minorities. They did not trust certain demographics, certain groups, and where they wanted to control them. So that by itself should make you a proponent of school choice.
Absolutely. Real quick, Patricia Rucker, we're about out of time. What's next? What's the next thing that legislative you want to accomplish in next session?
Well, I'm focusing on child welfare because that's a
dynamite.
Step.
That's the next logical next step. Patricia Rucker, it's always great to see you at these ALEC conferences. Thank you very much for coming back. Much success in your political future. It's just an amazing thing to watch the way you guys work.